Flashback Journey to Pompeii opened in 2015. I see other companies following suit, and they're offering similar kinds of tours. So how do you distinguish your company from other companies?
So I'm really happy that there's been more of an interest in virtual reality, and we have noticed other companies starting to offer similar kinds of tours, and you just people need to understand that there are different levels of quality of virtual reality headsets, everything from Google Cardboard to more advanced and the best mobile headsets, which are these right here, the Samsung Gear VR by Oculus. And so we use the best technology that's out there. We are always staying up to date and researching and using the latest technology to give our visitors the best experience. We also make sure that when the content that our visitors are viewing is not just like a still image of what a certain place might have looked like, but is rather a complete recreated video. So you're actually seeing people moving and the camera moving around. You're seeing a scene unfold right before your eyes. It's not just a still image. You're actually seeing what went on at that particular point of interest. So, for example, if you're in the Temple of Apollo, you're actually witnessing a sacred ceremony take place. If you're in the Forum, you're watching people doing business and watching what went on at that location. It's not just a still image. It actually tells a story, which is really important.
That's very interesting. So what was your inspiration for Flashback Journey to Pompeii? Like, how did you come up with this idea?
So yeah, that's probably the question I get asked the most. It all started, I've been in the tourism business for 23 years, so I have a company in New York City called Romancing Manhattan Tours.
Oh, wow.
And we do private tours of incoming tours of New York City and vacation packages and whatnot. So, and I'm actually a licensed tour guide in New York City. So my experience is from the standpoint of a tour guide. And so I view everything from the eyes of a guide. So back in the spring of 2014 on a family vacation to Italy, we all went to Pompeii, and I just completely fell in love with Pompeii. And the guides are fantastic, but the one thing I noticed was that the guides did not use much visual materials to show people. Sometimes they'll use like a little flip book, which is really cool, but when you have a group of 20, 30 people, it's kind of hard for everybody to gather around, and see a tiny little book. But when I saw Pompeii, I just felt that this needed to be done there, because I was going to develop this for New York City first, actually. It's still under development, so everybody keep an eye out for this happening in New York.
Oh, nice.
But as soon as I went to Pompeii, I just immediately felt it needed to be done there. So everything just shifted over to Italy, and I came back to New York, came back home, and literally 2 weeks later, went right back to Naples, spent 2 weeks there, going to the ruins every day, doing research, and then gosh, it must have been less than a year later the business was open.
Wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, we didn't waste any time.
Being the first to do something is never easy. So I'm sure there's been some setbacks and some challenges. Are you willing to share any of those with us?
Yes, there have definitely been some setbacks and some challenges. This was the early days of VR. So back in 2015 when we started, nobody knew anything about virtual reality. The customer support, to be quite honest, although now is fantastic, back then there wasn't really any, so we had to stumble and fumble through and figure things out on our own. I'd say one of the major challenges was the ease of use of the headsets and getting it to the point to where it's just very easy to use for our customers. So I would have to say that the majority of our customers are 55 plus, and we wanted to make it very, very easy for them to use, so they don't have to worry about scrolling through menus, tapping on buttons, and we don't want them to be overwhelmed by the technology. It's meant to be simple and easy. So that our biggest challenge, or one of our biggest challenges, was just creating an interface on the headset so that people can just basically just put the headset on and watch the videos and not have to worry about anything except just enjoying the time traveling experience, so to speak. And there were some other challenges. We have back then, it seems like the Wild West days of virtual reality. We were before we opened up for business, we had about a month before we were ready to open, and we were put into a really odd situation to where we all of a sudden needed to get an update on the phones in order for the virtual reality to work. And we were told that we could not get that update And
Oh,
basically
my
we
gosh.
were like dead in the water. We would have gone out of business before we even started.
Oh.
And here we are with, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of an investment, obviously, into this business, and we're about to go out of business before we even started.
Wow.
So, with a lot of prayer, and praying really hard, on a Sunday morning one day, I just got to the office, and long story short, just figured out a breakthrough and how to get that update, and we got it, and here we are 3 years later,
Wow.
and we're doing good.
Good. That's great to hear.